I'm gonna have to back up and come back. It keeps cutting out. Are you noticing it?
No. What's cutting out?
Just the sound in the phone every now and then, like there's no background noise.
Oh.
But you can hear me?
Yeah, I hear you great. So, and I just hit the stream, so we might be streaming. So, let's get that out there so people see that. We'll give them a couple minutes to jump on. I'm just going through the TV thing now. Oh, I got a good story for you while we're waiting for this. I was coming home yesterday, going like 45, 50, and came up to a stoplight. Went to go hit the brakes, and I heard this pop, and no brakes.
Well, no kidding.
Yeah, no brakes at 45 miles an hour coming to the red light. I went right on through, weaving around a couple cars as they beeped at me. So that was definitely interesting. So cool. Yep, we are broadcasting. So I see some people in here. See Lars has joined us. I'm sure we'll see Guar here pretty soon, but hopefully other guys are joining. So welcome guys to PGL Pod episode 17. Again, we used to do these, past couple years kind of stopped. It was more of a podcast. Now we're trying to do it more video, much easier. Eventually we can show stuff. You get to see who we are a little bit more. I get to look at this ugly mug across from me, but it's all good. I guess I consider him my friend now. It's all good. But yeah, we wanted to just get you guys kicked off, tell you what's going to happen with the start of the season. So one thing we'll remind you guys is make sure you follow the channel. That way you know when we go live. If you're out and about, you can get a reminder, check it on your phone. Also go follow the YouTube page, Premier Gaming League's YouTube page. That way anything you miss, we put these back out there as well. So make sure you're following both of those. As far as the season start, once this broadcast is over, during our fantasy football draft, I am going to be setting up the league, and I will start sending out invites. One thing to tell people right away, and we'll get into a bunch of things, as you join, get your team in, look around all you want. Just don't, be picking up players. That's the biggest thing. When you get on, we'll talk about what that looks like here in just a little bit when we get going. But do not pick up players. So injuries will be off in the preseason, so you won't have to worry about that. As far as the way our preseason will work, we will open up on, what did I say? Sunday, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So Sunday, we're going to open up the preseason week 1. And so that means starting then, every 24 hours we will advance. So we'll just be 24-hour advances for the preseason. We do that all the time. If you get your game in, great. If you don't, it's not a big deal. Injuries are off. You can try to plan ahead with who you would be playing if you want to have a user game and you want to play it. Use the schedule thread and start to get that done. But we will go every 24 hours. Free agent pickups during preseason, the way it works is you can pick up one player in preseason week 1, one player in preseason week 2, none in preseasons week 3 and 4, and then you can pick up another player in regular season week 1. Like I said, we will be in preseason week 1 when you first get in, but you're not allowed to pick up a player until Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Okay, Sunday morning 9 a.m. is the start time. That's Eastern time, 9 a.m. Eastern. So you can pick up your first preseason, your first free agent player at that time if you would like. You do not have to pick up a player if you want. You can accumulate your players as you go. So if you get to preseason week 2 and you haven't got one, you can pick up to 2. If you don't pick them in the first 2 weeks, you cannot pick them up in 3 and 4 though still. You need to wait then until regular season week 1. At that time, you can actually pick up 3 players if you really needed to. One new feature this year is practice squad. That is totally new to the game this year. I'm going to let Bogey kind of explain what our rules are on that, and I'll chime in on things that I might be thinking, but let him chime in here and tell you guys what we're going to be doing with the practice squad this year.
Okay, yeah, it's like Fat said, it's a new feature. Practice squad, you have a practice squad of 10 roster spots. Practice squad really doesn't come into play until preseason week 4. However, when you get into the league, when we create the league and you get in and you look at your roster, when you go into roster, you'll notice there'll be a little caption when you go to the player, like view as player card or whatever. It'll tell you if they're practice squad eligible. Simple way to know that is a first-year player or a 1-year experience or a rookie are your only practice squad eligible players. So any player that has 2 seasons or more is not eligible for your practice squad. So one thing that you might want to do is go through your roster, take a look at it. Obviously, you're looking at depth, and then you may want to consider, I got a 6-year veteran who's a 70 overall, and I have a rookie or 1-year player who's maybe a 67, and they're pretty close. Maybe you cut the veteran, maybe you cut the rookie or the 1-year guy. It's your decision. However, that will come into play later on. So, like Fat said, preseason week 1, you have a free agent acquisition. Preseason week 2, same thing. If you don't pick one or both up in preseason weeks 1 and 2, you cannot pick anyone up in 3 and 4. When you get to preseason week 4, that's when the practice squad really becomes important, because in previous Maddens, you had to cut your roster to 53. You still have to have a 53-man active roster at the end of preseason week 4, but you have 10 practice squad eligible roster slots. So you could have 10 1-year or rookie players from your roster that you put on your practice squad, cutting it down to 53. And then when we advance to regular season week 1, we would move on from that point. What I've experienced in the CFMs that I've done is, even with auto roster fill off, the CPU has auto-filled my practice squad even when I had openings. Now, when we did it with Fat, he had 2 openings and it remained as 2 openings. So it may vary depending on your team what the CPU does. So that's your decision on if you're going to have a full practice squad at the end of preseason week 4, or if you're going to have a couple slots open. That's completely up to you. However, when we advance, if the CPU picks up players, then you're going to have to decide if you're going to release those guys or you're going to have to keep them. That could become an issue, and we'll have to deal with that on a one-by-one basis. That's kind of where we're at with the practice squad. When we get to regular season week 1, we'll be advancing on Thursday morning, and you'll be able to pick up 1 free agent. That free agent can be a veteran free agent from free agency, or it could be a practice squad eligible player to put on your practice squad if you have an opening, or you want to cut a player and put him in there. Or you will be allowed to steal a practice squad player from any team in the league. However, when you remove or when you steal a practice squad player, he goes to your active 53-man roster. He does not go to your practice squad. So that would be your 1 free agent. You don't get to take a practice squad guy and a free agent. You get 1 player. It can be a vet, or it can be a practice squad eligible free agent, or you get to steal from another team. Did I cover it, Fat?
Yeah, I think I got that right. So basically what you're saying is in that first 24 hours that we advance into regular season week 1, I can pick up 1 player, and that can be in my practice squad if I would like, or free agent. If it's practice squad, though, he's at risk of being taken by anybody still. He's still eligible to be taken by anybody to their main roster, because obviously if you take him from my practice squad or someone's practice squad, they have to go to the main roster. That's what you're telling me, right?
Yes, and if you in the chat, JCB's asking a question, and I'll answer it right now. His question is, what about free agent pickups throughout the regular season? Can we poach from each other's practice squads? The answer to that is no. We have a rule that's in place that states you can only pick up free agents during the season if you suffer an injury of one of your players that's an 8-week or longer injury, and you place that injured person on IR, which then he's lost for the rest of the season. So if your quarterback goes down with an injury and it's a 6-week injury, he just sits on your roster. You're not allowed to pick up a free agent. If you have a player who suffers an ACL tear and he's out for 16 weeks, say it's a running back, well, the smart choice there, you're going to put that running back on IR, and you're then allowed 1 free agent pickup. That free agent pickup could be, as you say, JCB, poaching someone's player from their practice squad. So you only have 1 opportunity without an injury to poach someone's practice squad player, and that is week 1 of the regular season. Now, That's the way that Fat and I have decided to go for season 1 of Madden 17, simply because practice squad is new. We want to see how it plays out, and if we need to modify the rules as we move, we can do that. But I don't think we want to get into the business of poaching players throughout the season because it's just not fair. We haven't had it happen. And our rules have always been in place where we do free agent acquisitions, preseason's week 1, preseason week 2, regular season week 1. We're going to continue with that, integrating the practice squad players into that. And that really only allows you that week 1 of the regular season to poach somebody's practice squad player. And if you do that, that player has to go to your 53-man roster. You can't take another team's practice squad player and put him on your practice squad. The game will not let you do that.
Right.
So no coaching each other's practice squad players throughout the season, but we're going to see how it goes this first season, and then if we need to change it or modify it a little bit, we're willing to do that. But this is the way we've decided to go for season 1.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Yep, I think that answers it. The only thing I'll add on to that is the 8-week or more entries being taken. There's a little part of that also is that if the player's out for the rest of the season. So if we're in week 15, you lose your player for the rest of the season, you can still also go pick up a player at that point. Because again, it's basically if your guy has lost, 8 weeks or more, or the rest of the season is the rule. Okay, so just want to add that. All right, so that kind of talks that. We will update the rules on the practice squad, so you get that understanding, adding that piece in there, and we'll get those updated. So if you need to refer to anything, you can just refer to the rules to check that out. I know we still have a Super Bowl to play for Madden 16. Bogey and I will work that out. We've both been real busy the past week or so, so I know him and I have to play still. I'm off this weekend, so I'll talk to him to see if he's available, and we'll get that out there, let you guys know when that's going to happen. Last little thing I'm going to talk about here, our little MUT crack corner that I call it, so just our MUT tip of the week. I'm going to throw one out there that I kind of use that I think works pretty well, and I think Bogey uses this as well, is with the solo challenges, which are pretty quick, make sure, you don't have to just play the football in those games. The whole idea is to beat those challenges. That doesn't mean you can't use special teams in those challenges, right? So if it tells you that the CPU can't have more than 10 rushing yards, well, don't be afraid to call a punt, block, defense, let them throw a touchdown. It doesn't really matter. You're going to pass that challenge pretty quickly and move on to the next challenge because some of them definitely get difficult and can take hours if you really get stuck. So just a little tip there for you guys. I didn't have a chance to talk Bogey, but you got any tips you want to share today, Bogey?
Well, you kind of stole a good one. You definitely need to use special teams and read the challenges clearly. If you don't have to win the game, don't win the game. Just meet the challenge. So put yourself in a situation where if you need interceptions that the computer is going to throw. If you don't want to give up rushing yards like Fat said, then go to either field goal block or punt block, and the computer 99.9% of the time will auto to a formation with some type of 4 verticals, and they'll throw a touchdown unless it's Andy Dalton and he can't throw a 25-yard route. Whenever I play the Bengals, it always takes them 2 plays to score.
You sack them the first time.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Yeah.
Cool. Other than that, big tip that I think really should go out there to you guys, have a bronze team or a bronze/silver team. I've been playing most of my solos with a 60 overall rated bronze team. For all the rookie and pro level stuff, easily go with my bronze team. When it gets to the all pro level, you can still play with the bronze team. If it's a tougher one, I'll put in a silver team, and then I have a gold team, and then I have my head-to-head team, which is has my elites and stuff on it. So I highly recommend that you have a very low overall team where you can use up all those bronze contracts. Because if you do like my son does, Ace Spaz, he plays with his one team, which I did last year too, because I was like, who cares about contracts? This year contracts seem to be a little bit more hard to come by. But he plays with his 3 overall team or whatever it is he has with all his solos. So he's always adding contracts. So it's just a way to save contracts. Use the cards they give you, play them all the way down to 0, and then go to the store. And if your quarterback is out of contracts on your bronze guy, go to the store, buy that dude for 25 coins, you get 25 contracts. Because if you do the math, it's 2,000 coins for 100 contracts. So it's 500 coins for 25 contracts when you can go to the store, buy a bronze guy for 25 coins and save yourself some coin and contracts. So that's my tip. I guess that's 2 tips.
Yeah, no, good tip, good stuff. So again, you and I both love our MUT, and so we're trying to share a little bit of that with you guys, that you can get out there and do that. So we'll have more tips each week as we can share with you kind of some of the stuff that we do when we play MUT. Don't forget, follow the channel. That way you get the notifications when we come on. This week I don't have any videos. I didn't get a chance to look through, but in the future, if you have a video that you think you'd like me to show on the show, that kind of is an interesting word phrase there. Send me a PM so that I know, and I will get it out here on the show. We can show it off. So really hoping to get a lot of those during the season for plays that you have during your MFPL season games. So get those to me via PM. Give me the direct link into them on xboxclips.com, and I will definitely use those for sure. So again, thanks for tuning in with us, guys. Here in about 20 minutes, I think we've got our fantasy football draft, and we will definitely, have some fun there. I know a few guys looking to get it out there and see what they can do. I don't know if we have any new guys join us this year or not. I think we have a 12-man league though. So, but Bogey, anything you want to add before we head out here?
Yeah, we talk about MUT, and we're trying to get guys introduced or more active in MUT. The other night, I played my second head-to-head game, and I got a W. So I moved to 2-0, which is pathetic. I should probably have 40 games in by now, but with that stupid run-pass glitch that they just fixed, I refused to play. My goal is to play at least one game a night. We'll see if that happens. I just rage too often and too much to play. I just can't not rage. But my point is, I looked at the head-to-head leaderboard under my friends list, and I got to give a shout-out to Zeldo. A couple nights ago, I checked it out. Zeldo's leading the pack of PGL fellas with 8 wins, 5 losses, and Vat, I believe, was 3-2 at the time. Guar was 2-2. I was 2-0, and I apologize. I think Paddle may have played a couple games. I can't remember his record. And maybe one other guy had played a couple games. But I just want to give a shout-out to Zeldo. He likes to play like he doesn't put in time when he put in 700 hours plus on Madden 16, but quietly sits there and rips on me for going over 1,000 and Fat for doing his 690. But don't let Zeldo fool you, fellas. He plays the game a lot. He just doesn't talk about it. But he's in first place right now at 8-5 in head-to-head.
That'd be something cool we could add, I think, to the chat as we go along, to here, and we can bring that out and show who's playing. Because I think MUT's a great way to play, and it actually ups your game, in my opinion. You start playing MUT because you really pick up on tendencies. You're playing good players quite often, so you learn what the cheese is. But at the same time, I think this year it feels like you can stop it. At least so far, we'll see. Yeah,
I agree. It makes you adjust your game quickly. They did make the game 6-minute quarters in some of the modes, but I highly encourage guys to play head-to-head. It'll improve your game. It'll make you a better player, but it will frustrate you because when the cheese, like last year, it was all inside zone and 4 verticals, and then when you come into the MFPL and see that with your opponent, you just have to speak up and say, hey, you're running a lot of inside zone, you're running a lot of 4 verticals, maybe call a different play.
Yep.
We have to be able to do that to each other. Don't be afraid to call out your opponent because we all know what the meta is, or most of us do. We want to use as much of the playbook as we can. You don't have to use all of it, but you got to use more than 2 or 3 plays.
Sounds good. All right, guys, that's it for us for tonight. Thanks for tuning in, or checking us out on the YouTube if you're watching this on a replay. We will be back next Monday. We should be back on a regular schedule on Monday nights. That'll be most of the time when we do this broadcast. So we'll see you guys next Monday. Until then, take care.
Peace, guys.